If you haven't subscribed to WWE Express yet, now is the perfect time to join our community. We deliver deep dive character analysis, storyline breakdowns, and wrestling narratives that explore the art form at its highest level. Subscribe to WWE Express and ring the notification bell right now so you're part of the conversation when wrestling history unfolds. There are moments in professional wrestling that change everything, moments that shift the entire landscape of a company's future. And in this scenario, we're exploring one of those seismic moments. Randy Orton, the Viper, the legend killer, the third-generation superstar who has spent his entire career perfecting the craft of psychological warfare, finally snaps. And when the Viper strikes, there's no antidote. Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, the man who has built his entire career on never staying down, on always finding a way, on embodying resilience itself, that journey would come to a shocking and devastating end. But here's what makes this scenario so narratively compelling. It's not about Orton suddenly losing his mind in a blind rage. This is calculated. This is purposeful. This is the culmination of months of tension, disrespect, and a fundamental clash of philosophies between two men who represent different eras of WWE dominance. The build to this moment would have been absolutely masterful. Picture Randy Orton watching Cody Rhodes continue to accumulate victories, continue to climb the ladder, continue to be positioned as the future face of the company. Orton, a man who has earned his position through decades of excellence, through main eventing the biggest stages, through proving himself time and again as a top-tier competitor. He's watching someone he may have once mentored, or at least observed in the locker room, being fast-tracked to the very pinnacle. The disrespect, in Orton's mind, is palpable. Not disrespect to him specifically, but disrespect to the journey, to the process, to the idea that being at the top means something. The verbal confrontations leading to this moment would have been cutting. Orton, armed with his legendary microphone skills, would have questioned whether Cody truly has what it takes. He'd have pointed out that Cody's greatest victories have come against a certain tier of opponent, and whether Cody has ever truly been tested at the absolute highest level in the way that Orton has been tested. Orton would speak about experience, about battle-hardened veterans who have survived multiple generations of competition. He'd suggest that Cody, for all his accomplishments, for all his accolades, might be walking into situations he's not fully prepared for. Cody's response would be equally fierce. He'd reject the narrative that experience alone determines greatness. He'd argue that wrestling evolution doesn't care about how many years you've been in the business, it cares about heart, about hunger, about the refusal to accept limitations. Cody would position himself as someone who doesn't just compete within the system, but who transcends it. Someone who's not interested in following the template of what a main event superstar should be. He's interested in redefining it. The tension between these two would build and build. Every interaction would carry weight. Every verbal exchange would feel like it mattered. You'd sense that this wasn't about a title or a specific match card stipulation. This was about legacy. This was about who belongs in that exclusive echelon of WWE's most important competitors. This was about establishing hierarchy in a way that goes beyond championships. And then comes the moment that changes everything. A backstage encounter. The kind that wrestling storytelling does so well when it's executed with precision and psychological depth. Imagine Cody encountering Orton in an unsecured area backstage. Perhaps Cody is heading toward the ring for a major segment. Perhaps he's exiting from a match. The specifics matter less than the inevitability of it all. These two have been circling each other for months. The collision was always going to happen. The encounter starts with words. It always starts with words. Orton, with that slow, deliberate manner of speaking that makes every word feel like a threat, explains to Cody exactly what's about to happen. There's no shouting. There's no theatrical posturing. It's almost conversational in its cruelty. Orton describes what he's about to do with the precision of someone who has done this countless times before. He's broken down opponents in ways that have ended careers. He's studied the art of destruction. And he's decided that Cody Rhodes has overstepped. Cody responds. Of course he does. Because Cody Rhodes doesn't back down. It's the thing that defines him. It's the thing that makes him dangerous and makes him vulnerable in equal measure. He pushes back against Orton's verbal assault. He refuses to accept the narrative that he's anything less than Orton's equal. He defies the suggestion that experience outweighs hunger, that age outweighs ambition, that legacy outweighs the future. And that's when Orton's patience runs out. What happens next would be portrayed as devastating in its execution and completeness. This isn't a brawl between two evenly matched competitors. This is a surgical takedown. Orton, with the efficiency of a predator that has waited for the perfect moment to strike, dismantles Cody. Not in a way that's excessive or unwarranted, but in a way that's purposeful. Every strike, every maneuver, every manipulation of Cody's body communicates that Orton is operating on a different level entirely. The backstage referees, the production crew members, the security personnel, they're powerless to stop it. And part of the horror of this moment, part of what makes it so effective, is that Orton doesn't seem to care if they intervene. He's not trying to escape. He's not trying to hide what he's doing. He's making a statement, and the statement is written across Cody Rhodes' body. When it's over, Cody is left in a condition that can't be immediately recovered from. This isn't a storyline where he'll return the next week with a few bruises and a thirst for revenge. This is serious. This is the kind of damage that changes the trajectory of a career. The medical evaluation that follows backstage tells the story. The announcer's voice, trembling with the weight of what they're reporting, informs the WWE Universe that Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, won't be able to compete for an indefinite period. But the cruelest part of this scenario, the part that truly establishes Orton's psychological dominance, is what he says after. Not in anger. Not with the energy of someone riding the high of a conflict, but with the calm certainty of someone who has simply done what needed to be done. Orton, standing over the fallen form of Cody Rhodes, explains that this is what happens when you forget where you came from. This is what happens when you forget that experience, that time in the ring, that understanding of how to hurt people without crossing into illegality. These things matter. These things mean something. The implications of Cody's absence would reverberate through WWE. Suddenly, the landscape shifts. The narrative that was building, the story of this new generation rising up and claiming their place, is interrupted, derailed. The American Nightmare is forced to confront the possibility that maybe, just maybe, he wasn't ready for what awaited him at the absolute top. That maybe he pushed too hard, too fast, and encountered a force he couldn't overcome. And Randy Orton, vindicated in his assessment, reclaims his position as someone who controls the narrative of WWE's main event. Not through championship belts or title reigns, but through establishing that when it matters most, when everything is on the line, Orton is the most dangerous competitor in the company. The question that would haunt the WWE Universe is whether Cody can ever truly come back from this. Not physically. The body heals. But psychologically? Has Orton broken something in Cody that can't be repaired? Has the Viper injected enough venom that even when Cody returns, even when he's physically ready, part of him will always remember that moment? That vulnerability? This is the brilliance of that scenario. It's not just about the physical encounter. It's about the psychological warfare that wrestling does better than almost any other form of entertainment. It's about using storytelling to explore themes of ambition, experience, legacy, and the price of pushing too hard, too fast. If this kind of deep narrative analysis resonates with you, if you're the type of fan who sees professional wrestling as a complex art form that uses physicality and psychology to tell stories about power, ambition, and the human condition, then you absolutely need to be subscribed to WWE Express. We don't just recap what happens in WWE. We explore why it happens. We analyze the character psychology. We break down the narrative implications. We celebrate wrestling as the sophisticated storytelling medium it truly is. Subscribe to WWE Express now and become part of a community that understands that wrestling is so much more than just athletic competition. It's art. It's drama. It's the culmination of character development, psychology, and human struggle played out on the grandest stages in the world. Hit that subscribe button now.